Timing is perfect. Right. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Let's get the mic a little closer. How is everyone doing today? Do you have comments? See everyone? Say hello. So, quick disclaimer, everything's acting slow today. I don't know what's going on, but it is laggy. I'm on land. I rebooted. It's like, whoa. So I can get the comments up. Wow, it's really acting ancient today. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. Good morning, Mary Beth. Oh, let's start from the top. Oh, top. Good morning, Paige. Good morning, Connie. Chris Mendoza. Good morning. Linda, good morning. Mary Beth, hello. Good morning. Heather, good morning. Audrey, good morning. I just saw your questions a little while ago because I deliberately did not look at them. Richard, good morning. Connie, again, good morning. Running a little late. No, not really. I just wanted to get all the questions and kind of reboot and get everything ready. So not late. We've been here for a while, just behind the scenes. Let's see, also is here. My coffee maker is, in fact, I don't have my coffee maker is not a Fritz. I had a coffee maker. I had a Keurig. It was awesome until it wasn't anymore. Now I French press, and that could never, ever break. I mean, so that's good. Let's see what else is here. I'm in a meeting with Sid. Yes. Oh, Chris, they're waiting for a new book from you. CC Dos. Good morning, Jeanette. Early morning. If you need to bail early, Jeanette, please do. Don't feel bad. Lizzie, good morning. I see you every so often, Lizzie, on my CWW. So I'm not ignoring you. I don't usually answer questions because it's only a 5-6 minute video. But I do see you. And good morning, Lizzie. So this is a good morning for all the good mornings that you come and say hello. So thank you for dropping by and saying hello. It's acting slow, not enough. If you disappear, your power's out. Wow, 2 to 3 hours to fix. Hope it's not too bad. You better head back to sleep, Jeanette. Yes, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Go. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Richard. So let me just let me get everything ready. Agenda, everything set. I'm kind of getting everything settled. It's one of those fantastic mornings that things just happen to happen. And, my amazing co-pilot is here next to me. Say hello, darling. That wasn't me. I'm not a ventriloquist. Say it again. There you go. Say it again. Say something. Go ahead. Say something. Just say anything. Notice that I'm talking at the same time. It's no ventriloquist can do two voices. I don't know. Can they do two voices at the exact same time? You got to be pretty amazing to do that. Yeah. Or how about no? I've seen them do drinking and talking at the same time, so forget it. That one has been done. Okay. Good morning, Dooley. Mary Beth lets you know.
Hi, Mary Beth.
So yeah. So hi, Dawn. I hope I answered your last question appropriately, Dawn. I know you've been writing questions, and I'm glad you enjoy seeing some notes. Now let's see. YouTube on iPad can't give thumbs up to other people's comments. Sorry to hear that. Okay, let me just lower this so I'm not looking up. I'm just looking down right at you. Oh, but I can't see comments, so let's just do this one. Okay, what do you mean what's up with Peaches and Dex? What's the matter? What do you mean? I don't understand that question, Rebecca. So let's see. Yeah, it's like YouTube is like Facebook. They change UI stuff all the time without letting anyone know. Let's see. What was I? Saints and monks, glad you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments that you want to share, you most certainly can, provided it's not spoilery for anyone who hasn't read it yet. How long has the Saints and monks been out now? A few weeks? A week? 3 weeks. So by now, I hope everyone's read it. And if not, what are you doing if you haven't read it? Oh, Peaches under the table. It's not a bad thing. He's just chilling out. He's just relaxing. That's all. It's not he just likes to, and I think this is a big dog thing, if I'm not mistaken. Likes to kind of find a spot near Simon's feet and just kind of nudge in there and hang out there. And since he's not a small dog, he takes up most of the table. So you see that it'll be reflected in the first chapter again, because the first chapter is constantly in flux in the beginning. So I added something like that where he's under the table and he's crushing Simon's feet. So it's not that he's hiding or anything. It's just that that's his kind of like his little comfort space. It happens to be under the table because they're sitting at the conference table. But it's usually just wherever Simon is and next to him. Good morning, Enid. Welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What Peaches was doing, and we're discussing mages and monsters, but we're not spoiling anything, is what he usually does. If you notice, he was picking up on Dex's irritation or anger. And so when he senses that, he whines, or he'll let Simon know. So he just happens to be under the table near Simon. He's not hiding from Dex. He just happens, that's where he's hanging out, near Simon. The whine is to let Simon know something's not exactly right in the area. So that's why he's letting him know. If not, he would just say something to Simon. And they do have a little conversation about it. So yeah. Yeah, deep down, Monty loves Peaches, of course. I like to think that too. Even though he always calls him the creature, because that's Monty. Okay. Oh wow, okay. So yeah, you're doing both. That's good, Rico. Okay. Yeah, Peaches can't help being that sensitive because that's who he is. That's what he is. Animals are usually way more sensitive than humans, and so in Peaches' case, it's his job is to keep Simon safe. So even if it's Dex, if he senses that something is off in the area, like the vibe, the energy, he's gonna let Simon know for sure. Good night, Jeanette. Have a great rest of your sleep. Thank you so much for dropping by and saying hello. Feel better and get a lot of sleep, please. Let me give all the shout outs to everyone. All right. Shout outs to all of you on YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of YouTube little red arrows. So hello and welcome. We're on YouTube at Bitten Peaches Publishing. So please do me a favor, follow, subscribe, share. The CWW videos are really getting some traction, getting people to watch, which is excellent. And the same thing. Most of those videos are for me. And I'm kind of just sharing that with everyone on YouTube, everyone in the world. But they're really for me. I do them for me. I was doing them every day, and then I decided, let's just do Monday, Wednesday, Friday and see how that feels. So I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to see kind of how it feels. It's pretty comfortable, and it feels less stressful than I gotta do a video today. If I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it feels like I'm training, so that's pretty good too. So I'm gonna stick to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday for now and see how the flow goes, right? And you guys will let me know. Welcome, Aaron. You're not late. You're here. That's what matters. So shout out to everyone on YouTube. Follow us there. Follow us the CWW channel, I guess, because it's not a separate thing under Bitten Peaches. Follow us there as well, and follow our Kaffeeklatches are always on YouTube. So, yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna do, Chris. Because I was beginning to feel a little stressed, and then when that happens, then I end up not doing it at all. So, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have leeway, and then if I want to do a fill-in day, I can, like on Tuesday and Thursday. And if I don't want to, it also feels like I have a day off, which is nice. Instagram, oh my God, Instagram. I'm gonna have to delegate Instagram, really, because I haven't done anything on Instagram for the longest. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to delegate Instagram. But we are on Instagram at Bitten Peaches, and just go follow us there. We have excerpts and things to do there, and things to follow and things to read. They're really fun. And either I'm gonna delegate Instagram, I'm gonna have to make a recommitment to Instagram. One of the two. We'll see. Maybe on the Tuesdays and Thursdays I could do Instagram posts. It's an option. ZAZZLE. Oh, here's our link. Which is this YouTube? It's gonna take about a year to show up because everything is slow today. Oh, there it goes. Not that long. And it's your name. Oh wow, look at that. Amazing. StreamYard likes you now. Morning, Laura. Welcome. On ZAZZLE, I don't think we have any new swag, but we have Saints. We have Saints and Monks swag, right? The T-shirt. We have some Saints and Monks swag there, which is good. And we have a bunch of swag. It's so much swag. This is swag. This is ZAZZLE swag. I'm not wearing a shirt. Not representing the shirt today, but we have a lot of swag there. Go to ZAZZLE, M&S EMANDES. Our store is there. We go get some stuff. I would appreciate it, and the designers who designed almost that entire store would really appreciate it. So go there. Where's the ZAZZLE? There it is. And on Instagram, I'll put that link up in a moment. This is a ZAZZLE store, and I'll leave that up for a second, and I'll put this. Richard or Rico, love and hate that you're releasing first bits of Major Months. Really want to read, but don't want to stop the activity. If you're on Patreon, and I'll talk about Patreon next. If you're on Patreon, you can. That's where the early releases, the snippets are. If you were part of the mob, you saw that I released snippets on the mob, but all those snippets have been moved to the patrons. But you can join Patreon for free, so it's still not gated behind anything except that it's just moved to Patreon and not on Facebook. That's all. They've only shifted to Patreon, and I can interact more with the people who read those snippets. But I don't know, Chris, if you're gonna resist for much longer. Yeah, the murder stairs. You can only say this if you either, like me, grew up and you went to a Catholic school when you were younger. That was part Catholic school, part castle, apparently, and had this grand staircase that went up 3 floors, and you had to climb those every day. So that's the feeling of the murder stairs. And if you went to a place like that, or my high school, which had classes in the basement, and then I had a class in the basement, which was shop, and then I had a class. So my high school had 5 floors, but the 5th floor was like in a belfry somewhere. It was way up there. They had the shop class and then music. Music was way up in the top of the belfry, and I would go from the bottom all the way to the top, and that felt like, yeah, going into a belfry of a castle also. So that those are murder stairs, and having to do it every day, that was the fun part. It's the next link that I'm missing. Oh, Instagram link. Show. And here's the Instagram. So all these links will be up on the mob, as they always are, and you can go visit and do the respective things in each link. Now, let's see. Oh, here's our Patreon. If you want to, let's see, how would I word this? If you want to get previews of the stories, and also you just get exclusive stories for just the Patreon. Like, are they exclusive for everyone? Yeah. Like free and everything? Yeah. Okay. So the stories are for the paid members, but the chapter snippets and things like that are for everyone, right? They're free. The first chapter, you get to see the first chapter, which was awesome, which is all you got to see when I was pasting them on Facebook anyway. I never really went more than the first chapter, if I'm not mistaken. So I tried not to. But yeah, so go to Patreon, sign up, share with people, and then you get to see access to all the stuff that's happening. And there's a lot of stuff on Patreon. Some that's exclusive to Patreon, and some that's available to everyone who's free. Missing Frank, Gray, and Coda. Yeah, that'll be this year. I'm gonna write the next Rebecca. The next Night Warren story comes this year. So don't. And Frank is in a. Frank, not Frank, but Gray is. He's always like available. He was in Dusk later recently, so he's never too far away from the main stuff. Where's Peaches? Let Peaches out. There he goes. Okay, so yeah, Frank, Gray, and Coda. Coda has been away, but she has some stuff that's coming up. We're gonna take this off. I'm blocking that. And don't forget the links will be up on the map. So yes, Richard, I was laughing while writing about the murders because I was reliving experiences. Um, Regarding Frank, Gray, and Coda, they will be available soon, but Gray is always kind of lurking in the background of the stories. Welcome, Jennifer. Don would like Maids and Monsters Chapter 2, please. I think Chapter 2 is available. I'm up to like Chapter 3, or 2.5, something like that. So yeah. But yeah, so don't feel bad. A lot of people are always missing Gray, so that's just the way it is. And Peaches, so I'm jumping up and down between the reading because you guys are writing quick. And Peaches is the best boy, not just your best boy. He's the best boy. Good morning, everyone who's coming in. Jennifer, this second Jennifer Knox. Hello, welcome, and welcome. So you guys are coming in fast, so I'm trying to keep track of what's happening. So, do you guys have any questions about? I can't. Oh, that is a motorcycle. I can't answer any questions about mages and monsters because it's currently being written. But do you have any questions about saints and monks or comments about saints and monks? Both are welcome, and I can answer those. I can't answer questions about mages and monsters. Sorry, I don't. That would be truly spoiling stuff. I happen to like the fact that Gray makes cameo appearances. And out of all the characters in the M&S universe world, I think he's the only one that could make really fruitful cameo appearances because he can contribute so much to each character that he kind of drops in. Excuse me. So like for Duskblader, he was there and he helped him with the mission. I don't want to say much more than that because if you haven't read Duskblader, I don't want to spoil it for you. But ever since, let's see, it has been the other way around too. I believe in Wander, Monty did a cameo in Wander and helped Gray out. So there have been crossovers. Will Monty and Simon ever get a Zen garden in the Moscow? I think Olga would lose her mind if they put a Zen garden in the Moscow. What they can do is suggest a Zen garden maybe on the roof of the Moscow, something like that. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna fly with Olga, a Zen garden. They'd have to renovate it and then maintain it, and that won't go so well with Olga. Jennifer Jones says, I read so fast. If you could turn out a new book every week or so, that would be great. I would say that would be great too. A week for a new book, yeah. So that'd be about 10,000 words a day at 50K for a week. So maybe a 70K book in a week. And I'd be a vegetable for like 3 or 4 days after that because that's a lot of words per day, every day to maintain that pace. So yeah, but I'm all with you. If they could do a new book a week, that would be awesome. Let's see. As a warden, it seems his job is to know all about. Yeah, he's really Rebecca. Mary Beth. He's really close to Sid in that regard, where he kind of knows everything about everyone and knows how to deal with them. So that's a really good insight that his job is to know all the other characters. It really is, because out of all the characters in the stories, Gray is the one that's kind of on the street, kind of knows what everyone's doing, where they do it, and how they do it. And if he needs to step in to prevent them from doing something, he can because he has the kind of the power to do so. But if you read Duskblader, you can see that he does his research and he checks up on people. And he knows who's doing what where, for sure. Rebecca says Elder Han needed to drop in on Simon. That would be fun. I think it would be better if it's Jin though, because Han has to stay with the Order of the Sky because he's kind of the linking personality of that entire place. But I can definitely see Jin dropping in every so often saying, "Hey, how's it going?" Aaron says Gray is always someplace in the M&S stories. Yeah, Gray is always lurking somewhere. He is. And now remember, he has the dive and he has the abyss, so he goes from place to place. And there's a lot of interaction that's going to happen with the two places that gets revealed later on in his stories. So it can be fun. Yes, I agree with Chris, Jennifer. We love readers like you, for sure. That always want a book like in a week. That's never a bad feeling, ever. What does Jennifer Knox say? I'm amazed the car hasn't stopped Peaches getting into it yet. The car is not sentient. We're not gonna make the car sentient ever, please. All right, comment on Saints and Monks. Not sure why, but this book was over the top. Tired of some stuff and lots of great content that was needed. I have heard a lot of people say that. This is one of those moments where the word resonate really comes in. This book resonated with a lot of people for some reason. Maybe because Simon was kind of growing and learning and kind of like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this now, and that was long awaited. So yeah. Let's see. As an author, it was Monty and Strong. You're coming out as a known author. No, I have written stories before Monty and Strong. I think Monty and Strong was the one that kind of struck a chord with readers, but from Monty and Strong, there were other stories that a lot of people tell me that came in through Gray, through Sepia Blue, some even Spiritual Warriors. It's just that Monty and Strong is one of the most known of the series. But a lot of people find Monty and Strong and then go, wait a minute, he wrote all of that? So yeah. Let me pause this real quick because I want to shout out the patrons. So a huge thank you to our new patrons, Steve Scott, Howie, Annie, and Ron Branton. Thank you guys so much for joining us and supporting us and going above and beyond. You guys are awesome. I just want to thank you so much for being part of our Patreon crew, the Magic Squad. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And we don't have any new authors to promote or new works to promote, but as always, if you find an indie author that you really enjoy, please let us know because we support our indie authors. And please let us know who they are. L3 it in the mob, and we'll get people to start reading their story. So yeah, please, we support our indie authors for sure. Oh, let's see. Chris says I was reading Sepia Blue when we started. Yeah, a lot of people were in the middle of Sepia Blue. Sorry, all you Sepia readers, I'm so sorry. I will always apologize for interrupting the Sepia series for 4 years and then writing Monty and Strong and continuing that. So I apologize always. This is an eternal apology for interrupting Sepia and pausing it for 4 years while I wrote Monty and Strong. But we got back to Sepia and we did finish it up. Yes, Gray puts his resources to work, and for sure. For me, Gray is like a cross between Sherlock and Batman and a whole bunch of characters kind of rolled into one with magic and a real edge of danger and a cranky old mage at that. So there's a lot of characters that make up Gray, for sure. Will we ever get a backstory to Frank? Chris asks. Yes, we will, for sure. The dark goat sentient would be a scary thought. Yes, Aaron, we don't want the dark goat sentient. We don't. That would not be no. Let's not go there. That would be scary. Ah, Rebecca's funny. Elder Han could just send the pebble. That would be great. It can come in a big box. Like sometimes I get Amazon boxes that are like enormous. And I open them up, and the item that's inside could have fit in a box bridge, and then it could just be like a small pebble from Elder Han, just for Simon. Yeah. Let's see. Heather says, for those who read the FF on the MoB FF page, there's a reason my main character wants to go see some copy of Christia. That's interesting. Yeah. That's FF is the fan fiction. The MoB has a fan fiction page for M&S, or I guess for any kind of story for the M&S World. And it says, for me, it resonates because I'm eclectic pagan. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. A great trilogy. Oh, yeah. Chris has a great trilogy, the Mixed Magic Saga. So if you haven't read it, you should read it because it's out there and it's awesome. And readers are waiting for what's next, Chris. So get cracking. Richard goes back to the beginning of the stories, Warriors of the Way. That's way back. That's when, according to my wife and amazing partner, says, it was a book with a cast of thousands because there were a lot of characters in the Warriors of the Way. I think I put all the characters possible in the Warriors of the Way. So yeah, it was complete. Yes, Mary Beth, that's a really good point. Warriors of the Way, all 5 books were complete before I started M&S because I went from Warriors of the Way, and then I wrote Spiritual Warrior. Then I wrote Rise of the Night. Yeah, I kind of wrote all the number one, and then I went back. So I wrote Spiritual Warrior, Rise of the Night, and Blur. Those three number ones, right? Then I went back and finished Warriors of the Way because at least I need to have one series finished. And I finished that, and then I subsequently went to Sepia Blue and wrote 2 books, and then Monty and Simon stepped onto the scene and upended everything. So yeah. Amazon Delivery Man Sister Simon sign here, opens box, think pebble. Yeah, that would be perfect. I'm definitely going to include that. Who do I have to give credit for that, for the pebble? And was it Anne who said the, oh, Rebecca. I'm going to give you credit, Rebecca, for the pebble idea, for sure. So just remember that, for sure. Yeah, so that's what's happening. So if you guys have any questions about Saints and Monks or comments, this is the time to do it. It's already 12. Don't ask me where the last half hour went. It's already 12. We'll go a little over today because we started a little late today, so we'll go over like 5, maybe 10 minutes. But the time is just flying. Oh yeah, she read the book, and what was it? You couldn't keep track of the characters. There were so many. There were so many characters, and I tried early on. I understood the rule of not naming the characters with the same first letter. I tried really hard to stick to that. I think I still named some the same, but every character had a different name, and there were so many that did so many different things. It was hard for me to keep track of all the characters that I was writing it. What did Monty learn while Simon was climbing the stairs? Monty was training with Yacht. I think one day I'm gonna have to do like a behind the scenes and what was Monty going through while Simon was climbing the murder stairs. But Monty had already climbed those murder stairs. Remember, he's also you want to call it a disciple of Yacht in terms of Yacht has trained both of them, and Yacht has trained Monty way before he trained Simon. So yeah, he's learned a lot there, and under the stick of Yacht. Tiger, what are we talking? Tiger from the Stray Dogs, Rebecca? Okay. Don't know what the fuzzy goblin is, but I'll take it. Yeah, sure. Oh, let's see. Firo. Oh, Gracie's meowing at you to go outside. Got it. And play with the birds. I don't think the birds would consider it playing. That's the only thing. They can, it looks more like Gracie wants lunch. Oh, Tiger from, so you want to know what's happening with her, or is that like Tiger question mark is just kind of loaded. It could be many things. So maybe elaborate a bit more, Rebecca. Comment, Saints and Monks loves the monks. They were well written and gave us both a little laugh, but also thoughtful. Yeah, the monks were awesome to write. I haven't really showcased monks in any of the stories, except for Master Yacht. And he just came across as a really grumpy old teacher. And it was good to give a little bit of the background of where Yacht came from and how Yacht was actually made Master Yacht, which is where he learned and who were his teachers. So yeah. Did Master Yacht train Monty before the wall? That's an excellent question. The answer would be yes, he did. Master Yacht's really old. Master Yacht's not a maid, but Master Yacht has been really old. And the concept of longevity with the monks was kind of explained with Elder Han, how old he is. So Yacht is much older than Monty, but he's not quite as old as Han. So yes. Oh, a new story with the stray dog. That's a good one, Rebecca. I've been advised to stick to one series for a while because listen. I just cranked out Dusk Blader out of the blue. I was in the middle of a few things, and I really got to get into the romantasy. So I got a Frozen Fire, by the way, is the next book for the romantasy series for the Fate of the Dark Mages. And I really want to get that kind of off the ground a bit more. And Treadwell, the trilogy is kind of done right now. So, but I'm sure Sebastian will. If you read Saints and Monks, Sebastian is due for an appearance later on. So, because of the end of Saints and Monks, what happens in the back room. So Sebastian is going to come up, and if Sebastian has to come up, Tiger is right there next to him. Did I ever watch the Kung Fu show? Yes, with David Carradine, and the way he would speak. very slowly. Yes. I did watch it. I loved it. I grew up watching Kung Fu. I grew up watching all those Kung Fu movies that would come up on Saturdays with the horrible dubbing, the horrible, like, so I'm going to kill you now. And the lips would move 10 seconds later. Definitely. I grew up watching that. And not only that, I grew up watching it, I had a group of friends. We all would watch it on Saturday afternoons. And then after the movies were done, because they ran from 3 to 5, we'd practice all the moves we saw in the movie on each other, complete with sound effects. So we'd be like, psh, 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 all of that. We'd do everything we just saw and hurt and maim each other. Definitely. Jennifer says, I love monks. My favorite parts of the cleric quintet are the scenes with Danica. Okay. I don't know what the cleric quintet is, but it sounds interesting. Okay. And Lizzie says, I'm a friend of Connie. Oh, welcome, Lizzie, then. And thank you, Connie, for bringing along Lizzie. That's awesome. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, you have my perpetual good morning and hello, Lizzie. So I'm not ignoring you. I just don't really have it. It's such a compressed format because it's only 5 to 6 minutes that I don't really have time to interact with anyone. So I'm just talking really quick and expressing an idea, and then I'm off for school run usually. Let's see, Heather. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry. Same thing, yes, for sure. Oh, Salvatore, yes, I know Salvatore well. I know Dritz for sure. I mean, everybody knows Dritz at this point. I didn't realize, so that's definitely something I can look into because I know Ari Salvatore would be that story, that world. I have stepped into and read and then really enjoyed it. So I can definitely get into that for sure. If you haven't read Ari Salvatore, you should, or Salvatore. I don't know how he pronounces it, but yeah, but you should. It's a good world, and he writes. He's an excellent writer, and he writes great stories, great characters. Fritz is one of his elves, dark elves that are really, really famous. Time zone change. I pop in if I'm awake. Oh, what's the time zone, Liz? Lizzie, I'm sorry. I know we have people from all different time zones here, like Jeanette, who was here earlier. She's down under, so it's 3 a.m. where she is right now. She still comes in and says hello sometimes. So yes, I read the 5 books in 4 days, and from then on, plays the cleric and EverQuest 2. EverQuest is a great game. Oh really? Wow, that's a lot. 5 books in 4 days, and I think he writes long, so that's a lot of reading in a short amount of time. Oh, Lizzie's in Australia too. So there you go. Lizzie is like Jeanette. You guys are down under and up really, really, really early in the morning. So I totally understand why you might pop in if you're awake, for sure. Thank you for dropping by when you do. It's always awesome to see someone come in as I'm doing the CWWs. That's fantastic. Yeah, I used to play a cleric in Dungeons and Dragons too, because I like to keep my crew alive. And then I moved to Ranger because I like the concept of a Ranger. So I didn't play EverQuest much. I don't think I played EverQuest at all really the first time. EverQuest 2, I dabbled in it, but it didn't attract me. Then I got into Destiny, and the closest you can get to a cleric in Destiny is a warlock, and the closest you can get to a ninja type ranger character is a hunter. I never played a Titan because a Titan is too much of a tank, and that's not something that I was interested in playing. And to this day, when I do play, I'll do a hunter more than a warlock. I agree, Chris. We are worldwide. All right, let me get to the updates because time is fleeting. Time is flying. All right, so a Patreon story will be due is coming at the end of this week. Really the end of the month already. It's today. So this weekend I'll be finishing up the bureau. So that's a new Patreon story. I'm sorry, everyone can't read it. That's for the paid members. But it's a story that's available. How many stories do we have on Patreon now? 10? Yeah. Really? Yeah, the Patreon stories. We have a bunch, like 14, 15 stories on Patreon that are exclusive to Patreon. So please join Patreon, and you have to join it and be one of the paid members to get those stories. So the bureau is going to be on that. And they're gonna be more M&M. We shortened the titles of the books. So the last book for Monty Strong was S&M. Although I never called it S&M because it's S&M. But this book is called, since it's Mages and Monsters, it's M&M. So we have S&M and now we have M&Ms. Oh, S&M and some M&Ms. Doesn't sound so bad. Okay. Then we're in production for our next audiobook, which is sometime soon in the future. That's still kind of very, very much in the future. Lost Runes is in production. And right now, we just got the rights back for Tomb Yards and Butterflies audio. So that's up on the website. So go get it on the website if you haven't heard it yet. And if you have, share with people to go get it. It's on our website, TMB. Tomb Yards and Butterflies, and Full Moon How, which is the second book that we're getting the rights back for, will be up there as soon as we can get the rights back. And also, Saints and Monks is doing well on Amazon, so don't forget to leave your reviews if you haven't already, because I know life happens. So please don't forget to leave your review, even if it's a short, hey, I loved it, or it was great, where's the next one, kind of thing. Yeah. Let's see, Jennifer Jones says, I have about 17,000. Oh, it's over 12 years. Okay, that makes more sense. I never played a paladin because paladins are lawful good, and I could never be lawful good in any character play, so no. Well, and see, that's a Titan. Titans were the tanks, the niches. I don't play it. I can't do it. I loved it. I played it for a while, but I like the movement of hunters was great, and the abilities of warlocks were fantastic. So I kind of mixed the two. Yeah, DPS and heals is really tough to do. That's because you got to balance everything out. Yeah. Did JPL narrate TMB? No. That person, John Logson did No God is Safe, but Kevin, who narrates all our books, actually narrated Full Moon How and Tomb Yards and Butterflies. So we have the same narrator for all the books. This is where they're located, right? This is the shop thing. The shop is up. Show it. Show. Go. There it goes. You can go there and get Tomb Yards and Butterflies. So Kevin is our narrator. He's been our narrator for all the books that we've had. And what else? Anything else? Yeah. So he's done all our M&S stuff. So yeah, Kevin's a fantastic narrator. But yeah. So go there. Go to our website. That's just what happened to the link. I don't know. What happened? StreamYard. What are you doing? So go there. Go to that link. You can get Tomb Yards and Butterflies, or share it with someone so they can get Tomb Yards and Butterflies. And Full Moon How will be up there as soon as we get it back. It's only taken 7 years for us to get it back because we were in a contract with Audible. And we're like, no, let's just get everything out, please. And with this group, we had to wait 7 years before we could get it back. So, and now we have it back and we can put it up on our website. So it's awesome. Did we do this? Is No God is Safe on the website too? Oh, okay. We're gonna put NGS. I call it NGS. We always abbreviate because the title sometimes is really long. We're gonna put No God is Safe on our website as well once we get confirmation that it's no longer exclusive. And then because we don't want to run into anything. Yeah. On that, so we had someone else do Monty on No God is Safe, right? Because that was before. Okay, it's an interesting origin story with No God is Safe. I had written, I think, I don't know, Tomb Yards and Butterflies have been written, and maybe Full Moon How, and then everyone was asking, how did they meet? You know, how did Monty and Simon meet? And it got really pressing where the readers really wanted to know, how did Monty and Simon meet? So I said, okay, let me write the origin story for how Monty and Simon met. I wrote a short story. It became No God is Safe. And then, before I had done the audios for Tomb Yards and Butterflies and Full Moon How, which were the first two done, with Tantor, John Logson does narration. I don't know if he still does it, but he did it way back then. And he had a friend who could do Monty's voice because John couldn't do Monty's voice. And I listened to it recently, and I was like, oh, I think we're gonna have to redo No God is Safe because it just doesn't sound like Monty anymore to me because I'm so used to Kevin because Kevin does a perfect Monty. He really does. So let's see. Liz says it's a cyclone monster land where we are at the moment, and we're standing by hoping the big ones will miss. Wow. Somebody saying hi to you, Lizzie. Not good. I live in Tornado Alley. Yeah, those things are not good. Cyclones and tornadoes and all those natural disasters. Hope you guys stay safe and be careful because it can be really scary. Those things are way, way out of your control. Here, I know in this country, what you have to do, most houses are equipped with, is it basements or shelters? Chris, what is it like? They're like the underground. So you just close it and you just get underground because that's the only way you can get away from tornadoes here in this country. I don't know what you do in Australia, but that's what we do here. Aaron says, sadly, I can't do audible books these days as they tend to put me to sleep. Oh, I don't know. You should listen to Kevin. I don't think he'll fall asleep. When I was working and driving over the road, I listened to audible books as I was driving to the set. How did you not fall asleep driving? Because that's more of a relaxing kind of thing. I mean, I guess you're driving a truck or something like that, but maybe not because you do have to be really alert for that. So, yeah. But Kevin, when he reads the books, I mean, my only experience is when he reads Monty Strong. It's like a radio show without all the effects, but it's really, he lives each character. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's good. My youngest Valkyrie, whenever we do the 15-minute samples, she's always like, let's listen to the rest of it. I'm like, this is just a sample. So yeah. Oh, root cellars, right, cellars. So the underground, they have these big metal doors, if I'm not mistaken, and then you just jump in and you pull the door closed and you lock the door and you wait out the hurricane, and hopefully when you go back up, your house is still there because it's really rough when tornadoes hit. Rico, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for visiting. I'm sorry you have to go to Wake. My deepest condolences to situations like that because it's always rough. Have a great day, Rico, and thank you so much and have a great weekend. All right. I don't know why I would shut down on your Kindle, Laura. Kindle's been acting kind of strange these days, but I'm glad you're able to get it back on your phone. They don't build anything like that. Is it because the ground doesn't sustain the underground type of storage area, Lizzie? Or like what's the reason? Do you have a reason why they don't build those things here when you have tornadoes or cyclones? Like, what do you do in case of a cyclone? Do you find a really sturdy building to go into? Is it like a shelter type thing? Welcome, Cindy. You're not late. You're on time. When you get here, you're on time. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Kindles are not Facebook friendly at all. They've been doing so many changes to Kindles lately. The most recent one is that whole you can't download books to your computer. I don't think that's the deliberately a Kindle thing, but that's the most recent ebook thing. So I don't think it really affects many people, but it does have an impact. Wow! Oh my God! 12:40. What the heck? 12:20. I just look at the floor. It's just 12:20. 12:40. Oh my God! All right. Enid says in Florida it's because the water table is too high. Yeah, you guys are slowly sinking, is what I hear, Enid. Is this true? You're on the ground, so you know. Is Florida really sinking, or is that just hype? Because I hear Miami's going to be gone in a few years. Yeah, Kindles are slow. They are. They can be really slow. Even the more recent ones that I've heard, they still have issues. But let's get to the questions. I have questions. We have questions here. First of all, I want to thank you for the questions. Audrey's provided the questions this week. Let me see if I can access the third question. Awesome. All right. So thank you for the questions. They do make the show so much better and kind of more interactive, which is fantastic. So I appreciate it. Let me hide this current comment because it's like this banner across my face and chest. What's going on? Awesome. All right, first question from Audrey, who's keeping her question streak going. Orlando, if you could know the truth about any one thing, what would it be? Oh my God, just one thing, Audrey? Seriously? Oh, man. It's too much. That's a hard question. There's no one. There's a lot of things I'd like to know the truth about. Any one thing it just can't be any one thing. We can start with how the pyramids were really built. We can start with a lot of esoteric knowledge. So hermetics, things like that. The mystery behind the Kabbalah. Um, the original Dead Sea Scrolls, all of them, what was on all of them, stuff like that. You know, some of the other stuff that's more mundane, but you know, there's a lot of mysterious stuff that I'd love to know the truth about. And anything can't be one thing. It's just too big of a question, Audrey. But it's a great question. Just leave it. We'll leave that one open because there's just so much. Dolly, you ready for your question? You need to inspire a group of 18-year-olds with one sentence. What would you say? Here, yeah, a group of 18-year-olds. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to use your logic and your common sense to make good decisions.
That's a great question. Great answer.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Good question. Good answer, man. Good answer. All right. Next question. Orlando, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a writer who is just starting out? Wow. I get this question every so often, like every few years I get this question. And every few years my answer is different. But if there's one part that always stays the same is persevere and write the suck out. So what I mean by that is you have, in order to become, I don't want to just say good, to become skilled at writing, you know, proficient, you have to write all the bad parts that you're going to write out, meaning all the mistakes you're going to make, all the bad writing you're going to make, all that other stuff that is part of the process of writing, that takes time to write. So they go together, right? Writing the suck out and persevering kind of are linked. You have to persevere long enough as you write all the stuff that you're going to write out, that eventually you'll get to the part where you can start writing fluidly and in a way that people enjoy reading. That's hard to do when you're just starting out, because when you're just starting out, you don't know what you don't know. And so it takes a while to get to that point where you can start writing and people will go, oh, I want to read that book. Have you heard the latest book? X book is out. I want to read it. It takes a while to get there. Most writers, when they start out, want that to happen tomorrow. And it doesn't happen tomorrow. It takes a lot of tomorrows before that tomorrow lands, where it's like, this is the day that people start saying, hey, that book is great. You should read this one. Yes, Chris, I have a lot of writing that's never going to see the light of day. I think every writer has something like that, because it's kind of us discovering who we are as writers and also discovering your voice. So you try, first thing you do as a writer when you start out is you emulate the writers that you've read, and you emulate writers that you know. And so over time, you start finding your voice, but that takes time. And the only way you can really find your voice as a writer is to write and to get that kind of out of your system. So that's my advice to anyone who's just starting out. Persevere. You have to persevere, because it's not easy. And anyone who tells you writing is easy, I'll go on the record as saying that they haven't really tried writing, because writing is not easy. It does take work, and it does take perseverance, and it takes study. And like I always tell the kids, I've given myself homework for life, because writing is homework. A lot of it is homework, research, learning. You never stop learning, you never stop researching. The research that you see, the things that you see in the book of research, you see 1/10 maybe of everything I've had to research to be able to put that stuff in the book, because it's just a lot of reading, a lot of research, a lot of studying. Also, I can get it into the book and make the book sound authentic. So, and I grew up in New York, and I still have to research the city that I live in. It's like that. So, perseverance, study. As Stacy Stein says, put your butt in the chair, sitz Fleisch, and don't give up. Don't give up. You got to believe in yourself, because before anyone knows who you are as a writer, you have to believe in you. And I know it sounds like a CWW video now, but you have to believe in you. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. You do. And if you can't do that, this is hard. You're not going to last long if you can't believe in yourself, because no one's going to believe in you until you do first. So that's the way it is, especially when it comes to writing. And you have to be There's a lot of pieces. You have to be willing to accept good instead of perfect, or great instead of perfect. A lot of writers don't send out their work because they're pursuing perfection, but it doesn't exist. There's no perfect book. It doesn't exist out there. So chasing perfection when you have greatness and you don't ship the greatness because you think it can still be better has a tendency to stop a lot of writers in their tracks way at the beginning. Ship out the greatness and keep working at it so it can be greater and greater and greater each time you write. But you're never ever going to reach perfection. So don't go for, I need to make this book perfect before I let other people read it, because then no one's ever going to read it. So go for great. Great is good. Oh yeah, and ship. Learn to ship. Let's see. The little Kindle conversation. Don, keep writing. Don't you dare quit. Keep writing. All the circular potholes, all the bad character profiles, all the bad and drop top. Yeah, that's all there in the beginning. It's horrible. It's really bad. So, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that. I have some stuff that I read. Cringe. Very cringe. Let's see. Helen says, I've begun to learn why some stories get trunked while trying to finish my HF, working on the last book. That stuff. Yeah, a lot of they're all called trunk novels for a reason. Yeah. That was key for me. Butt in chair every day, 5 days a week. Yep, get your butt in the chair and write. That's don't talk about writing. Don't think about writing. Don't dream about writing. Get to the actual writing. That's how the book gets done. You can do all the other stuff, but you still have to sit, get your butt in the chair, and write. Get the words out. That's the only way it happens. Heather, just keep plunking down the work, keep your nose to the ground so you get. Yeah, listen. There was an interview with Stephen King, who writes, what is it? I think 500 words a day, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, or 5 pages a day. But it doesn't seem like a lot, 5 pages. Like, it depends on how long those pages are. But at the end of a year, if you calculate 5 pages a day, at the end of the year, and he writes every day, except for I think his birthday. We multiply it times 364, right? And we write every single day, 5 pages a day. That's a novel, or maybe 2 at that point, because he writes long. So 5 pages a day, he gets it done, and Stephen King can be just, yeah, I'm just gonna do 5 pages. And at this point, he can, but it's cultivating the work ethic as a writer, which is the hard part, is getting used to doing the work every day. This is why I like to consider myself a pulp writer, because the pulp writers during the, I want to say the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, but that era of pulp fiction, they didn't have the luxury of, I'm waiting for the muse. And when she gets here, then I'll start writing. No, they had to feed themselves and feed their families. So what did they do? They would just write. They would get the words out. And there's that story about Ray Bradbury, who went with a stack of dimes because he didn't have anything to write with. He didn't have a typewriter. He went with a stack of dimes. And back then they had these typewriters where you could put a dime in for a certain amount of time to type, because it was so you could rent a typewriter. He went with a stack of dimes, and he cranked out Fahrenheit 451 on a typewriter. I wouldn't even know how to write on a typewriter now, because there's no delete button. No, you had to really be good at what you were doing. Yeah. And they were paid by the word, exactly. And they were writing for magazines, and the magazines just paid them by the word, and that's how they made their living. Some of these pulp writers were so prolific and made a lot of money for that era, but they had a crafts. They had like a, what do you call it? It's like a blue collar type of ethic to writing. It's like, just get the work done. We're just gonna go in and get the work done. It's not this very elevated pie in the sky. I'm just gonna wait for the muse. There was no waiting for the muse. You were hungry. You had to eat. You got paid by the word. You wrote a story. Let's go. Crank it out. You know who also has that work ethic? Journalists have this work ethic. It's like, no. There's a story to tell. Go write the story and get it out. And so you can't wait for inspiration. The great thing about that is, and I tell this to every writer, every author, most of my best ideas, the best ideas that I've ever had, came to me in the middle of me writing something else. Mounting Strong came to me while I was writing Sepia Blue, and there are countless number of stories, as you guys know, that came out while I'm writing Monty and Strong. The only thing that I did different was I didn't stop writing Monty and Strong to pursue the other stories. I pursued the other stories as I was writing Monty and Strong, which is a lesson that I learned. So I would have a 4-year gap, right? But your best ideas will come to you while you're in the middle of a creative process as a writer. And so my CP Blue example, I'm writing CP Blue, I'm on the 3rd book, and Monty and Strong pops in, almost fully formed, you gotta write this. So I write it, and then it takes off. But that's how you gotta do it. You gotta immerse yourself in the creativity, and more comes. The era of the penny dreadfuls come again. Yeah, for sure. That was the golden age of writing sci-fi, mystery. Yeah, you get, and the books were like coming out like crazy. This says bring back the insert override function. Some of the programs I have don't have it. Oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, so that's the case with all these. With it's a great question, Audrey. The case with writers who are starting out usually need some kind of direction. The hardest part of writing in the beginning, I was actually discussing this with Dolly the other day. The hardest part of writing in the beginning, aside from getting reviews because no one knows you, that's a hard. That's usually you have to have a completed book for that, right? But besides that is finding your voice. And this is the hard, because I've gotten this question: how do I find my voice? How do I write in my voice? And it's such a hard question to answer because voice is like your fingerprint. It's like your verbal fingerprint, right? And it's hard. That you have to write a lot and read a lot to find your voice. To find your voice as an author, it's this wow. It's just so hard to explain, but it only comes to you as an author if you're writing. It doesn't come to you if you're thinking about your voice. It doesn't come to you if you're, contemplating voice and studying voice. It's you have to actually do it. It's like, I guess the closest thing to it would be like acting, right? How do you find your own particular acting style? You see all these actors when they start out, they go to these different schools of acting, but in the end, they develop their own way of acting. And finding voice in writing is pretty much like that, finding your particular way of being as an author. And for some it works, and for some it doesn't. But it has to be your unique voice. And you'll see it. Like, you see an actor, any actor that's established has a certain way of acting. Despite the roles that they may be doing, they have a particular way of acting that distinguishes them as that actor. And so same thing with books. If you know a book, if you know the author, you know what to expect just from the author. If they're an established author, you know what to expect just from seeing that name on the cover. It's going to be this kind of book. Even if they depart from their normal genre, from their normal way of writing, their style, their voice is so distinct that you can read the book and kind of know what to expect, even if they're departing from what they usually write. Exactly. Yeah, Marybeth. Let's see. I won't use Stephen King, but let's say a Lee Child, or there's so many authors out there that you could recognize. I can give you their first chapter without giving you the author name, and some voices are so distinct that you will know this was written by X, like a Joe Abercrombie book, because he's gonna release a book soon. I could read one of his books, his chapters, and know, oh, this is a Joe Abercrombie book because he writes in such a distinct way. That's having a strong voice. You need to have a strong voice to write in this world now when there's so many authors out there. Another one that's like that is Paulo Coelho. You read Paulo Coelho, you know this is a book written by him. I would say the same thing of most of the big fantasy names like Tolkien, or the names that are established. You can read their work and you know. Tolkien will spend 10 pages describing a tree. But only Tolkien can do it in such a way that you're actually still interested to read the rest of the story after being given the details of the tree and the lineage of the tree and how the leaves look and how the sun hits them and the bark of the tree and all that, and still you want to keep going because that's just Tolkien's style was just that way. And so It's like Terry Pratchett. You read Terry Pratchett, you know it's Terry Pratchett. You don't have to see his name on the book to know, oh, this was written by Sir Terry Pratchett. Because it's just, and to such a degree that if someone writes in a particular way that's close to Terry, they say, yeah, you sound just like, and they'll mention Pratchett or they'll mention King, because the voice is so strong that it's starting to sound like a beginner writer starts to sound like the writers that they emulate. So that's the hardest thing to do is to find that voice. It's hard, but you have to. There's really no way around it if you want to do this for a long time. And I've been writing now how long? I forget. 2016, 2012? 2016? Is it 2016 or 2012? How are we counting it? Oh no, I've been writing since forever, but like, yeah, I've been writing, look, I've been writing. Oh my god, really? In 20 years? The SW started a long time ago. I remember that. Yeah. I don't know how you count. Listen, I've been writing for at least 20 years. 2012 was when I think Spiritual Warrior was published. Let's see, oh, Christmas, yeah, 2012. So what's that? 12 years, 13 years this year, officially, but SW started way before then. So I can say I've been writing this for a long time, but I haven't been writing as long as some of these really, really well-known authors. But 12, 13 years. This year will be 13 years. I'm still learning. I still have my research books and my desk reference books. I still have them there and I still read constantly about, does this ending work on this, or how to deal with XYZ in writing a story. I'm still constantly learning because you don't master this. You don't master writing. I'm sorry. People say you don't master it. What you just do is you get better and better and better and better. And really what you're doing is just polishing your voice every single iteration, every single book. It's like I was telling Chris earlier today. It never gets easier, but luckily or fortunately, it never gets harder. I hope it never gets harder. But it doesn't get any easier. Each new book that I start, no matter what the genre is or the series, it doesn't get easier. It's just, I'm facing the same kind of resistance and I'm seeing kind of difficulty. I'm still facing a blank page. And so it doesn't get easier. You still have to create from nothing. A blank page is nothing. It's white, and you have to put the world on there. How important is it to hit the right tropes in writing? It's really important depending on if you. So here's where the reading comes in, right? This is why reading is so important. If you don't do enough reading in the genre you intend to write in, you can't hit the tropes you need to hit. So to clarify that, like let's say you're gonna write urban fantasy, like this is what I do, but you don't include the urban part of the fantasy, then the people who want to read urban fantasy, your readers, will be disappointed, and they won't want to read you any longer. Like writing, and that's broad, right? Because there are so many facets to urban fantasy. But even something like romance, you have so many different kinds of romance. But to be considered romance, there are certain tropes you have to hit to make it to be considered a romance, even under the umbrella. If you don't do enough reading, you can't write those tropes in because you don't know about them. That's where the reading comes in. So if you're gonna write urban fantasy, you need to read a lot of urban fantasy. If you're gonna write romance, you need to read a lot of romance. And while you're doing this reading, considering it research so that you can grow from there while you're discovering your own voice so that you can hit these tropes. It's really a complicated kind of juggling act, but you've got to read before you can write. It's a weird kind of paradox, but you have to read. Don, you'll never feel like that because every writer has a tribe that you just have to find. You just gotta. How will you know if anyone will like what you're writing if you don't finish writing it? You gotta write it and get it out there, and it has a tribe. People will read it. If you like something, you have to operate on the premise that if I like this, that means someone else is gonna like it. And you can, and the other thing you have to remember as a writer is that you can't write for everyone. You've got to find your tribe of readers. You got to find the people who like what you like. It's like, I like Star Trek, I like Star Wars, but sometimes those two groups are diametrically opposed. There are people who are like, Star Trek is the only sci-fi, and then people are like, Star Wars is the only, and you have people who will fight to the death about those opinions. That's the way it is. So when you write something, you're gonna find people who like it, but you're gonna find people who are like, yeah, I don't, that's not for me, and that's okay. As a writer, you have to learn that everything that you're putting out there is not for everyone. You cannot write for everyone. This doesn't happen. If you try to write for everyone, you write for no one, because it means no one. You can't write. You can't write that way. You gotta write thinking about your ideal reader, but usually your ideal reader is you. You're the one that you're writing about the things that you want to read. Write what you would like to read. And then what happens is when you write what you would like to read, you'll find others who like to read what you like to read. And so they'll like to read what you have just written. And then that starts to. It is Trek versus Wars. Are you kidding? That's been around since I was a little kid. I grew up with both. I grew up with Star Trek. I grew up with Star Wars. And that beef, that fight has been going on for decades. Decades. It's the fandom that has never ended. And there are other fandom wars, but that's one of the oldest that I know of. Because once Star Wars came on the scene, all the Trekkies lost their minds, and then all the Star Wars fans just kept rubbing it in Star Trek's face that they weren't as cool as the Star Wars. It was a whole thing. It was a big thing, and it's still ongoing. And then there are people like me who like both. I can appreciate and enjoy both. So, oh wow, it's time. I got to talk to Sid about this time situation. So, if you're writing and you're starting out, find your voice. I can persevere, write, keep writing, even if you don't think anyone's gonna want to read it. Keep writing, persevere. And the other thing is this is very zen. I hate to do this to any beginner writer. You can't find your voice by trying to find your voice. It's just strange, hard paradox. You just have to write, and your voice will come. It will happen, but you have to write. But if you're writing to find your voice, it seems evasive. It doesn't work like that. You have to write to get the story out, and then the story will come out in your voice. But you have to write, and as long as you're writing, the voice will come. But if you're writing and the thought process behind the writing is, I have to find my voice, it's not gonna happen, because you just have to write, and the voice will arrive. It's hard to explain, but that's the way it is. Oh yeah, this Babylon 5 was good. Babylon 5 was really good. But then you got Battlestar Galactica and Space 1999. What about those? So yeah. So as Chris says, it only comes in your writing. It's true. It only comes in your writing. And finding your voice is so important, but it's very zen. You only find it by writing, as long as you're not looking for your voice. Then you will find it. When you're not looking for it, you will find it. That's our zen thought for the day. Find your voice by not looking for it. Now I feel like Master Yacht or Elder Han. You can find your voice. You can find your voice by not looking for your voice. There you go. So, listen. Yeah, the Star Wars isn't. But if you ever get a chance to watch the documentary, the history of Star Wars, how it started, how it got written, how it got done after American Graffiti, which was the movie that George Lucas did before Star Wars, and kind of did that to fund Star Wars. It's really, really interesting to learn the history of how it came together, and how Lucas was so smart to trade the proceeds for the rights to the movie and the rights to the merchandise, because that is what exploded and made him a very wealthy person and a recognized filmmaker. And he was able to make the next movies because of that. BSG was good, Battlestar Galactica. I had a Cylon Raider, and I had the other ship that was on Battlestar Galactica. What was it called? Man, I know I had the Silent Raider. I had both. I had the Silent Raider and the other ship, fighters. What was it, Imperial Fighters? I forget the Colonial Fighters. I think it was Colonial Fighter. I had a Colonial Fighter and Silent Raiders, and I used to fight those two. I would run around the house, find those two. That's how BSG was the best. One of the best. Yes. Okay. I want to tell you all thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You make each episode of the Kaffeeklatsch fantastic and incredible. Colonial Viper, yes. Oh, watch those stones, God. And you make it worthwhile to be here and hang out with you guys and have our moments of just chilling out and discussing a little bit of everything. Our stories, our episodes, our shows are just like stories of everything. We discuss a little bit of everything, and anything and everything does creep in. So thank you for another fantastic, great Kaffeeklatsch. And I really am looking forward to one day having a live Kaffeeklatsch with all of you. That would be amazing. You guys are fantastic. So you know my 3 B's before you pick a number. Be kind, be unstoppable, just don't let anything stop you, and be uncommon. So have a great weekend. And before you go, pick a number 1 to 7 so we can have our closing theme. Let's go. Okay, good. I can get to it eventually. This takes a while. It's lagging. You want to tell me the numbers, babe? 9. 1 through 7. Who said 9? 1 through 7. What do we have? Okay. 4 4. Okay, 4 1. 4 was victorious. The number 4 was victorious. How's that? Thank you, Enid. All right, hold on. Let me just get to the media aspect because 4. Oh, okay. Here we go. 4. Playing it now. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Put the volume up so you guys hear it. It plays. Because StreamYard might be funky today. Great weekend, guys.